Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. He has promised to fix it, but the Premier's revealed the Spirit of Tasmania fiasco is worse than first thought. The timeline for the new ships and Devonport berth upgrades blowing out to 2027, shattering the tourism industry's confidence in the government.
They're supposed to be the jewel in the crown of Tasmanian tourism, but it's now been revealed 2 new Spirit of Tasmania ferries won't be in full service until at least February 2027.
I recognise, like all Tasmanians, we are very disappointed at the situation that we find ourselves in.
More than 2 years later than expected, the Premier now looking to chart a new path forward.
That is some time away. While disappointing, they are the facts of the matter.
A report by 2 leading infrastructure experts guiding the government's next steps. Its findings ruling out interim berthing options being considered by Jeremy Rockcliffe due to safety and logistical issues, recommending sticking to redeveloping berth 3.
We needed to explore those options to see what was possible to bring the ships forward.
TT Line looking into leasing the vessels in a bid to recoup some of the hundreds of millions of dollars already sunk into the project.
The first 2 Spirits were second-hand. These are new ships, let's face it.
A more than $25 million cash splash is also being made on tourism operators to help keep their heads above water over the coming years. But business leaders say many traders are uncertain about what lies ahead.
This is a situation that obviously businesses lost confidence with this government over. Can we trust them? We don't know.
The 2 Spirits were promised in 2017 to be ready 4 years later. The bungled project leading to the downfall of former Infrastructure Minister Michael Ferguson, along with Tasports and TT Line bosses.
The government has stuffed the Spirits. They've broken our GBEs and they've let our tourism sector down.
Labor saying it's taxpayers that are paying the price for the stuff-ups.
This should be one of the great moments in Tasmanian history, and instead it's a total farce.
Well, today's Spirit announcement has raised some eyebrows. Our political reporter Anthony Dodd joins us now. Anthony, is it fair to say certain sectors are now cautious about trusting this government with big projects?
Kim, yes it is. Tasmanian Chamber of Commerce and Industry believe it would be difficult to have faith in the Liberals when it comes to major projects. As we just heard Kim, President Michael Bailey telling media the delays with the Spirits have caused some business owners to lose trust in the government. But the Premier is looking to make amends with a series of supports for the tourism industry. One of them includes handing out 100,000 vouchers worth $100 to encourage Tasmanians to dine out in a bid to help struggling traders. While today's plan has been met with scepticism from the TCCI and the opposition, the Devonport Council has welcomed the government's plans and its support package. But with the project already going through years of delays and budget blowouts, the Liberals face rough seas ahead, trying to win back the public's confidence, Kim.
Okay, thank you very much there, Anthony Dodd with us. Commuters have been left stranded as bus drivers walked off the job in Launceston today, seeking better pay among other demands. The union says negotiations with Metro have been frustrating.
Waiting for buses that were never going to arrive. Many around Launceston this afternoon were unaware the buses were all parked and the drivers off the job.
It was supposed to come at 15:15, so not too long, but now I'm going to have to go back and do something while I wait.
Metro drivers hanging up their keys for an hour as negotiations drag on, seeking better pay and a number of other conditions, including critical incident leave.
A crucial way for a bus driver who's involved in a serious incident, antisocial violent behaviour out on the road. It's an opportunity for them to spend some time at home, get themselves right before they return to work.
Amid driver shortages, the union says recruitment isn't the problem, but retention.
Once people come into the building, they see the culture, they see, they experience some of the safety concerns that the drivers experience, and they decide that the wages is just not good enough for them to consider staying.
Staying put, the only option for many commuters as the timetable went out the window, disruptions lasting about 2 hours. Metro says plans were in place to mitigate this. It prioritised school services and posted updates to Facebook. The message, however, didn't seem to get through.
Yeah, it would have been wonderful to know before now, actually.
If you don't mind waiting another hour?
There's not much else I can do, I guess.
The bus driver coming in didn't tell me they were going on strike. I'm a patient fella. I'll probably get a taxi home.
Nick Kelly, 7 Tasmania News.
A pedestrian has been injured after a car crashed into a petrol station near Launceston Airport this afternoon. The building was damaged, but the fuel pumps weren't. The driver escaped injury. A new report suggests Tasmania does not have enough midwives to support the growing number of mums and babies in our state's hospitals. Health unions calling for urgent action as staff burnout and a lack of retention lingers.
1 in 3 midwives have considered leaving the profession, a new report labelling the workforce as in crisis.
That would be catastrophic. We already know there are significant staffing challenges across midwifery in Tasmania.
Modelling from the Midwifery Future Report predicts Tasmania would need to produce 3 times the number of new graduates by 2030 to keep up with demand, with localised staffing shortfalls prevalent across most regional areas nationwide. Many choosing to leave before the age of retirement.
As a healthcare professional, going home and thinking you haven't given 100% to your women and babies, you're here because you want to provide the optimal care, and at the moment you just can't do it.
The report recommending urgent action be taken, including the implementation of a national midwife strategy funded by the federal government, as well as ensuring the profession is promoted through schools and career days.
And I'm concerned that we can't afford to lose more midwives. We've already heard about the issues at the Royal Hobart Hospital when it comes to midwives, the unsafe conditions, the fact they haven't felt supported.
Well, we want to recruit and retain, that we are supporting new entrants into frontline health service, whether that be nurses, midwives, doctors and paramedics as well.
The data also prompting calls for babies to be included in care models to more accurately reflect staff to patient ratios.
Where one midwife could be caring for maybe 5 women, but in total that could be 10 patients with women and babies.
Ensuring those who look after mums and bubs are also looked after. Ruby Cairns, 7 Tasmania News.
A letter signed by almost 50 experts and professors is calling on Tanya Plibersek to take urgent measures to protect the endangered Maugean skate. They're asking the Federal Environment Minister to honour her pledge of no new extinctions. The government's already funded a captive breeding program and says it's committed to restoring the health of the skate's last known habitat in Macquarie Harbour. Tasmania's former Greens leader alongside state MPs have joined forces calling for an oversight of Australian abattoirs. Writing to the Prime Minister, Cassie O'Connor says, quote, "Voiceless animals deserve humane treatment and independent oversight, monitoring and enforcement are urgently needed." Earlier this year, the Tasmanian government committed to a new animal welfare task force which introduced mandatory video monitoring in abattoirs. Well, after being a staple in Tassie bottle shops for almost 2 decades, it's last drinks for James Boag's Wizard Smith's Ale. According to brewery owner Lion, the beer has been experiencing declining sales, but it should still be available for a few more months unless drinkers snap up the final stock sooner. For the 3rd year in a row, agriculture and activity have taken over the regatta grounds on Hobart's waterfront for the Royal Hobart Show. It's celebrating its 200th year, with thousands choosing to spend their public holidays soaking up all the action.
From the mighty to the tiny, walk through the gates of Hobart's Royal Show and there's entertainment everywhere you look.
What's been the favourite?
Watching the sheepdog thing.
Having a great time.
The dinosaur show proving popular with the little ones.
Oh, quick! Into the trees! Into the trees! Pretend to be a tree! I saw the Bluey show and that was really good. And the dinosaurs were really good. And the kelpies look very fun.
It's been a good day so far.
There are also the usual crowd favourites, showcasing Tasmania's top-level competition. Exhibitors impressed by the number of onlookers, more than 12,000 revellers stopping by today alone.
I'd say we're well on track to getting a good crowd. We always like to break records, of course, but, we're working on that.
The show bag's proving a staple worth waiting for. What show bag are you going to get?
I'm going to get the Rick and Morty one.
Some working hard, others hardly working, despite being well dressed for the occasion.
We get the kids to name the pig, so we get silly names like, Pocahontas and Stinkerbell and, Brad Spit and Baconsay.
With rides like this one, there's plenty of thrills on offer at this year's show. There's also lots to do for those of us who like to stay a little bit closer to the ground. And for those unable to get to the regatta grounds today, don't worry, you'll have another chance, with the show wrapping up on Saturday. Lily Thompson, 7 Tasmania News.
Well, Northwest residents have wasted no time enjoying a new coastal pathway connecting Kui and Wynyard. Officially launching this morning, local leaders hope the shared track will be pivotal in attracting tourists to the region.
The 13 kilometres of new pathway had only been open an hour before cyclists were trying it out in earnest at Anzac Park in Somerset, including local tandem riders Joanne and Carl Rowbottom.
It's the best thing that's happened on the coast for a long time, especially from Burnie to Wynyard. I think it'll liven the place up for sure.
The pathway with its vistas of the ocean marks the completion of the Waratah Wynyard and Burnie City section along the former railway line. An investment of more than $15 million, funded primarily by the state government, but with contributions from the two councils.
This has been a project that has been in the making for some 2 decades. So from Burnie through to Wynyard, we've officially opened it here at Anzac Park in Somerset.
Cyclists, walkers and joggers can now keep fit on the overall 70 kilometres of coastal paths which run between Latrobe and Wynyard. Plans now in the pipeline to further increase the distance of the picturesque pathway.
And we're also undertaking a feasibility study to take that path all the way through to Stanley. So where else in Australia can you ride a bike for that distance? It is an amazing place. We live in the best place on earth.
It's hoped the route will attract tourists to the North Coast, allowing them to enjoy all it has to offer. Melinda Ogden, 7 Tasmania News.
Hobart triathlete Cam Worth describes the Ironman Championships in Kona as the sport's Super Bowl as he prepares to contest the iconic race for a 6th time. At 41, he'll be one of the older competitors out there for the gruelling challenge. Not that he's worried.
I got nothing to lose. I've had 2 Ironmans this year and been 3rd both times.
Yep.
That's what gives me a lot of confidence coming here, knowing that when I line up, I'm generally at the front of the field.
His best result in Kona so far was 5th in 2019. So, yeah, certainly not for me, I don't think that, Kim.
No, it's a gruelling event. Thank you very much there, Nick. Peter Murphy will join us after the break with a weather forecast.
Good evening. Hobart and Devonport 16 today. Launceston and Burnie reached 17, while the top was along the east coast at St Helens and Friendly Beaches. Temperatures did drop below average though. Bushy Park 16 degrees, 15 on the islands along with Smithton and Low Head. Strawn 13 degrees, Lyawini reached just 9. Cloudy conditions early over the west, central and south before the build-up statewide. Darwin Dam 31 millimetres to 9 a.m. and Mount Reid 10 millimetres to 4 o'clock this afternoon. Cloud brought the thunderstorms to northern New South Wales and southeast Queensland. An area of high cloud is over central Australia. The high is the dominant feature over the mainland at the moment and will move over Tasmania tomorrow. That will still continue the southwesterly airstream, peaking at 30 knots during the morning, but easing to 5 to 15 knots over the west later, swells to 3 metres. We have a strong wind warning for waters between Sandy Cape and Tasman Island, and also a warning to sheep graziers for the expected cold conditions and to bushwalkers with snow probable over the western and central plateau districts. Here's the drop in temperature. 13 for Hobart tomorrow, a shower or 2. 13 for Huonville, a shower for Campania, 13 as well. Launceston, a high of 16 degrees, becoming cloudy, partly cloudy for Devonport, 16 as well, and 15 for Georgetown. Burnie, a high tomorrow of 16, a morning shower for Strawn, 13 the top, and Wynyard, a high of 16 degrees. St Helens tomorrow, fine and partly cloudy, 15, but a shower clearing from Swansea and Port Arthur. On to Saturday now, and a fine start ahead of a shower for the west and possibly later the northwest of the state. Showers more widespread on Sunday, easing during the afternoon and evening, and on Monday a shower or two more isolated over the north. Mostly sunny in Perth tomorrow, partly cloudy in Adelaide, 19 in Melbourne with a morning shower. A shower possible in Sydney, 21, and a storm brewing for Brisbane with 30 degrees there. Just 9 in Hobart at the moment, 12 and partly cloudy in Launceston, 10 currently in Devonport. Now, Kim, I know you spilt some tomato sauce after having that Dagwood dog at the show today. Lucky polyester cleans up well.
A bit of bleach doesn't go astray. Thank you, Murph. That is all your news for now. I'll be back later with updates. Thanks for joining us. Good night, everyone.